Good morning, everyone. It is Magical Monday. Linda Joy here. Happy Monday, beautiful people out there. How are you? How are you going? Very interesting, the energies that we're all feeling. And if any of you have been following me on Facebook, I was actually away on the weekend. I flew up to Rockhampton for a family event, and this was for my auntie's 80th birthday. So it was all my aunties and my cousins who I haven't seen for nearly 20 years. So it was a very magical moment, and got back last night. And so, yeah, today's topic is about relationships. And thanks for watching. Anto, hi, and hi, Marty. So today we're talking about relationships, and because there's many people that have been contacting me either going through a marriage breakdown, a relationship breakdown, separation, planning divorce, and all of this brings up a lot of emotion. But on just talking about the weekend, like with my family, and anyone who knows my history, knows my story, you know that my family dynamics have been quite interesting over the years, where I haven't fit in, and there's, I've felt very ostracized, and there was a lot of abuse during my childhood. So this has been a huge healing for me to get together with my siblings at my mum's place, and huge healing of forgiveness, acceptance, and coming from a place of neutrality. Remember, I've been the black sheep because of my spiritual beliefs, my spiritual teachings, which I've been teaching, for many, many lifetimes, though I was all, killed in many lifetimes. This life, it was like, right, okay, let's see if I can survive this one and teach my spiritual teachings to others, especially at this time of humanity waking up, the huge shifts in consciousness and shifts of awareness. And I remember many years ago when we were talking about 2012, and that's like this pivotal point where anyone who is non-spiritual will become at least neutral. Because, 20 years ago when I was teaching my teachings, I was like, this is woo-woo, you're from another planet, and no one accepted me. So that was another, society was just rejecting what I was saying. But now that everything is coming to the surface, the truth's coming to the surface, more people are open to more spirituality and a way of being and shifting consciousness. And I remember my teacher, this is maybe back in 2007, and she was saying about this huge shift that's going to occur in 2012, and everyone will be at least neutral about spirituality. And I just went, wow, because I was thinking about my family, right? Going, wow, maybe they'll finally accept me. And then she looked at me and went, accept your family, Linda. So it's been a huge challenge. And so for me to get together with everyone on the weekend is a huge healing and a blessing and how do I describe it? It's, I've done a lot of work on myself to get to this point, and that's what I've been always working on, to get to that place of feeling safe in that environment and at peace and neutrality within myself. So any relationship all starts with ourselves, but then when there's a relationship breakdown, either in a partnership or in a friendship or in any, relationship breakdown, it's about coming back to ourselves and looking at our own wounds, looking at our own shadow side, looking at those underlying beliefs, stories, patterns, old programs that are basically running how we live and everything that we're doing on a daily basis, and how we're thinking and what we're telling other people. So diving into relationships, it's very interesting, the dynamics, when we come into a partnership, a relationship, you will actually see how it plays out, and the button pushing and the triggers and everything that's coming up for you. Because when two people come together, it's a learning and a growing experience of compromise, of button pushing or triggers, or, oh, when you do that, I feel this. And this is where communication is so important, and really having those open and honest, deep and meaningful conversations where you both express how each other's feeling. So, and then, any relationship, if you come with all the baggage and the wounds and unresolved issues, that will cause either a toxic relationship or a very unhealthy relationship. You just have to look at, the dynamics between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and you will see how toxic that was. They both have their own wounds, and it was unresolved, and then they came together, and it was just very unhealthy. So, what questions do you have? Hi, Alicia. Great to see you here. And Phil. So we're talking about relationships, and I'm also doing card readings today. So if you'd like a card reading, let me know. I've got a few different decks today. The Psychic Tarot Oracle deck, as well as the Keepers of the Light Oracles, and then the Guardian Angel Tarot cards. So in talking about relationships, is there any relationships that you are currently struggling with, or whether there's been a disagreement, or where there's been some conflict or arguments or misinterpretation? Remember, we've just come out of Mercury retrograde. So during Mercury retrograde, it's about communication and communication breakdowns or misinterpretations, misunderstandings, and this can cause conflict between different people, especially in relationships, because those closest to us, this is where if you're feeling something, they're also feeling it. So it's so important to really have a routine of self-care for yourself, have balance in your life, and really take responsibility for everything in your life that you're thinking, doing, saying, your behaviors, and what you're feeling, and also the words you're saying, what you're projecting onto others, because that has an impact in all your relationships and everyone that you speak to. So when we come back to our heart and really listen to our heart, it's like, how would love respond to that? So it's, because you can react to something, but that's usually coming from the ego, and it's a reaction. And because that part of you is hurt. Remember, the ego is there to keep us safe. So if someone says something that feels like a projection or a judgment, the ego will like react and respond suddenly with words or actions that are not coming from a place of love and acceptance. So thanks for watching. Hi, Ivan. Good to see you here. So I'm going to choose a card, just a general card, and I'm going to use my psychic tarot. And this is for everyone who is watching. It's June the 6th of the 6th, 2022. And so as all the energies, because I'd like to say it's settling down, but it's still quite, it's like an upheaval. The energy, it's still quite volatile. If you get my newsletter, I did mention this in my newsletter. And the energy is not quite settled, especially for this month. So that's why I will repeat, please be gentle with yourself and listen before you respond or react, especially if someone has said something that has triggered you. Just take a moment to just go within, and it's like, okay, I'm feeling this, and acknowledge it. And depending on the person, you can actually say this, you know, when you say that this is how I feel. And it has to be that open communication, but coming from a place of love and acceptance, non-judgment, really watching the words that you say, and be careful that you're not judging or criticizing or coming from a place of resentment and anger, because that can come across as well. So I'm going to choose a card for today. It's a bit cool here in Brisbane today. I think we're only reaching maybe 20 degrees in Brisbane. Anything 20 and below is cold. And okay. So, wow. I've got the Truth card. Now, this is a major arcana card. That is amazing. I mean, I shouldn't be amazed, because it's just perfect and divine. That this is the message for everyone. So Spirit obviously wants me to share this message, okay? The qualities of this card illustrate spiritual awakening. So that's what everyone is going through right now. As uncomfortable that it may feel or seem, everyone is going through this spiritual awakening, and it's a good thing. So get excited, celebrate, and it's clarity, the revelation of truth, and cosmic consciousness. At times it takes a wake-up call to get your attention and show how far you need to go. So again, remember, everyone who comes into our life, and if they trigger us, it's like, beautiful, I've actually got a teacher in front of me, because they're showing me the unresolved parts of me, or the shadow part that requires healing. Okay, and this is how we become more aware of those parts, in order to heal those parts, heal those shadow sides, heal that ego, and what's underneath that is the old programs and patterns that's running unconsciously. Okay, any questions on that? Let me know. Hi, Mike. Thanks for watching. So this card comes forth to do just that. It's like a wake-up call to how far you need to go. Okay, it's not a judgment. It's like, whoa, I still feel triggered, or I still feel this anger or resentment or frustration or this sadness, or there's lots of emotions, grief. So, and this was something, on the weekend with me being around my family, that was a huge test for me. And I feel I've come through with flying colors, and because these are people that I have avoided because of my past and everything that's happened in the past. So it was like, whoa, feeling safe around them. And so, yeah, it was actually a very positive outcome all around. So evaluation of the past, along with the lessons that you've learned or still need to understand, must now be a top priority. Beautiful. Doing so will enable you to forgive, accept, and heal so that you can move forward in a balanced spiritual mindset. So, perfectly said. The Truth card reminds you that a significant change must be made in a certain area of your life, but don't make any hasty decisions. Take your time, for your choices or alterations must be weighed and evaluated with the most careful and wisest of judgments. Whatever steps you take now will have far-reaching consequences, more than you'll ever know. So using the powers of the universe and blending them with a little help from the physical world will assist you in bringing about clarity and a shift in awareness. So what was once not obvious will now be realized and understood. Be honest with yourself and trust that you know to be true. Perfect. So that is the card for everyone, the Truth card, and everything that we're witnessing, experiencing on the planet right now, the truth is coming to the surface. Injustices are coming to the surface. People are really feeling into what's true for them and what feels true. So they're trusting their inner guidance. They're trusting their truth. And also their higher self. Remember, we're in this dual reality, so there's always going to be light and dark. We're multi-dimensional beings, so we are connected always to our higher self, and listening and trusting our inner guidance is so important on this journey as we navigate on this planet. And we make choices and decisions for our highest good and destiny. So we all chose to come here as a soul to play on this playground. And while we're here on this playground, this is where we come into different relationships. And whether it's a friendship, whether it's an acquaintance, a colleague, or a intimate relationship, a marriage, whatever the dynamics, it's all about relationships with one another, and that's where the emotions come in. And our job is to see it for what it is, because we are... Hi Jane, great to see you. So what we are experiencing when we come into different relationships is an opportunity for us to grow and learn more about ourselves. So as a spirit, we don't feel the emotions. That's why we chose to come here in these physical bodies and to experience all the dynamics, so that we can learn and grow and upgrade our conscious human operating system as a soul, and and we just keep upgrading and upgrading and learning and growing. And we're only on this planet for such a short time. So there's a lot of pieces and moving parts and logistics to relationships, and especially in the last couple of years, it has brought up a lot for people. You know, with all the lockdowns, and it's really triggered a lot of relationships. So some have become closer, and then unfortunately some have ended. And so that's the area that I seem to be helping people more with, is the relationships. But it all really comes down to the relationship with yourself and what's going on for you. So I work with individuals. I'm not a couples counselor. I work with the individuals so they can feel more centered and grounded and at peace within themselves. So who has a question, or who would like a card? I can choose a card, and I've got a few different decks here. And lovely to see you, Jane. Haven't caught up with you for ages. So living in a beautiful part of the world, I believe, up in Noosa. Okay, so Jane, would you like Keepers of the Light Oracle, Guardian Angel, or the Psychic Tarot Oracle card? Just let me know in the chat. Sometimes there's a time delay between you're moving to Perth. Oh my God, how exciting. That's awesome. Okay, psychic one. So I'm shuffling, and I'm going to make 3 piles. So 1, 2, or 3, and just let me know. And so what number, Jane? Awesome. 2. Beautiful. Throat chakra. So I can already tell, the throat chakra is all about communication. And it's interesting, you know, we've just come out of Mercury retrograde. It went direct on Friday, and our throat chakra is all about the color blue, and the sound is ham. The element is the sound. The gland is the thyroid, and the keywords is I speak. So this chakra is, of course, located in the throat area. Communication, sound, creativity, and the ability of clairaudience, which is your inner hearing, are associated with it. Many artists, speakers, writers, singers, and individuals involved in the creative arts will often have an active throat chakra, and the work that you do and everything that you live for and live and breathe, it's all about your creativity and your creative expression and what you talk about. So this is so relevant. So to balance and stimulate this energy center, try humming, chanting, or singing out loud. It's a great tonic. Most important, if you have something to say, please speak up. When this area is fully activated, don't be surprised if you suddenly become creatively inspired. So there you go, Jane. Maybe speaking up something that needs to be said, or maybe doing a Facebook Live. So there's, each of the chakras have different elements about it. And that's what we actually talked about in my latest book, Reclaim Your Inner Goddess. It was myself and 6 other amazing authors, we wrote this book, but we wrote about each of the chakras, the 7 chakras, and we've talked about all the elements on how to balance and clear each of the chakras and how to know when it's out of balance, because the chakra is, we've got the 7 chakras, you know, from the crown, third eye, throat, heart, solar plexus, sacral and base chakra. They're our energy centers, and they're constantly moving, spinning, and the energy, it's like a vortex of energy. So when there's anything happening in our life, well, it's really important to do your daily housekeeping and clear these energy centers, because that will make a difference on how you are feeling, how you sleep, how you respond and react to others. And like we've just talked about with the throat chakra, if there is an issue, you know, about speaking up or expressing yourself, and this is where the heart and the throat work together, because when you speak, you want to express with love and express non-judgmentally. And so I'll use the flip side. If it comes out as judgment, criticism, sarcasm, and you feel that undertone of anger, well, that comes across as more of a projection, but that says more about the other person than it does about you. So I really encourage you to really watch the words that you are saying, but also the tonality behind it, and also what your intention is behind what you are saying, because it has an impact on all our relationships. It has an impact on how you will feel after. Sometimes we say things and then regret it after, and then what we're feeling is that shame and guilt, and then processing, I shouldn't have said this, blah, blah, blah. So I really encourage you to be really conscious and aware of the words that you are saying, how you are saying it, and coming from that place of love, from your heart space, and treat others how you would like them to treat you. So you are so welcome, Jane. I trust that resonates for you, and yes, I'd love to catch up and hear your exciting news moving to the other side of the country. So for everyone who isn't familiar with the geography in Australia, where Brisbane, well, most of the population is on the east coast, and Perth is on the west coast. So that's like going from New York to San Diego. That's the move, and in between there's a lot of desert. So very exciting to move from coast to coast, and awesome. Definitely resonates. Excellent. I'm pleased to hear that. And yes, we need to catch up. I look forward to hearing all your exciting news and new move. So any other questions before we wrap up? Does anyone else want a card reading, or got any questions? And thanks for watching, everyone. So I'm here live every Monday at 11 o'clock, and every week I will create a different topic, and I'll do card readings, and I'm happy to answer any questions for anyone. So yeah, from my weekend just gone, I will post more of the photos with my family. So it was a gathering in central Queensland where we all went to Rockhampton for my auntie's 80th birthday. She is such a bright, being. I mean, she's so her birthday's actually today, and she's a social butterfly, and she has many different groups of friends, so she'll be celebrating for the next week. So yeah, she's amazing, and just a beautiful loving soul. And then that night I got together at my mum's place at Tannum and with my siblings. So I've got one brother and two sisters, and that's the first time that we've all got together at mum's place under the same roof. And my brother and my older sister are both married, so yeah, our sister-in-law and brother-in-law were also there, so it was just us, and it was just perfect and divine. And okay, Marty, what would you like, guardian angel? Hey David, thanks for watching. Okay, Marty, I'm going to choose a card for you, and just let me know 1, 2, or 3, because I'm going to make 3 piles. And just think of a question. You don't have to put it in the chat. Just think of a question, and whatever card comes out is perfect and divine for you. So just waiting for that number, 1, 2, or 3. Marty? Yes, please. Yeah. So just pop 3. Okay. So this is the card, Marty. It's the guardian of emotion, and the meaning is this situation requires emotional maturity and total trust. You're surrounded by those who have only the best of intentions, so you can rely on the advice you're given. Challenges will be resolved. This card also indicates a generous, humanitarian, and refined person whom you can completely depend on. This could be a reference to these characteristics within yourself. So I'll just give you I hope that resonates for you, Marty. Let me know, and I'll give you the extended version. It's a bit of a repeat, but I'll read it out. Is this situation will be handled with emotional maturity and a trustworthy heart. The parties involved have the best interest of everyone in mind. There's a desire to resolve any challenges in a compassionate way. Isn't that interesting? We're just talking about relationships and family dynamics and about forgiveness and acceptance and having that spiritual mindset, knowing that we are all here to learn and grow from one another on this playground. So if your heart is moved to support a particular cause or charity, do so with determination and passion. Accept advice given in a kind and caring manner as being good as gold. And that's in inverted commas, good as gold. And so the additional meanings is a love of art, music, or dance, a fair mediator, listening carefully to others, and a diplomatic approach to challenges. And people is a separate section under people, an honourable person who has great integrity when it comes to matters of the heart, a humanitarian who cares about people and animals, can be very vocal about it, an upstanding member of the community, a firm but loving parent. So all these are points, okay? And it's additional to what this card is, and I trust it resonates. Very polite and courteous, acquainted with reputable people in high places. So that's your card, Marty. Let me know if that resonates with you and answers your question. And know that you can reach out. You can book a free 15-minute consult with me. So if you'd like to have a private one-to-one, we can do that over Zoom. You can book that on my website. And also to let you know, I'm making a lot of changes to my website. So yeah, that'll be happening over the next couple of weeks. Very exciting. And also going to be adding a relationships page on there. So people specifically looking for more resolution and how to overcome separation. That's I'm working with a lot of people right now, coaching them through that process so they can come back to their heart, to feel more confident and have that self-esteem in order to move forward and to look at the relationship from a different perspective. Because sometimes we come with these agreements that you feel obliged or obligated to save that person, and so talking to this client from last week, how it was like he went into the relationship knowing that she had certain characteristics, and I choose to choose my words carefully, because nobody's broken and no one needs fixing. But if you know that, okay, there's a lot of wounds there and there's a lot of unresolved issues, and this is also, can create the dynamics and the communication breakdown if one person wants to talk about it and then the other shuts down. That can cause a lot of conflict and communication breakdown. That's where you both need to come from that open, honest, transparent place of talking about it in an amicable and reasonable environment. And if it can't happen at home, well then, get a mediator or counselling and be able to talk about it freely. So I just got a flash of, because I just saw I was thinking of the red table, Jada Smith and Will Smith. Well, she's got the red table, and that's where it's, okay, this is the red table. This is our, where we really expose and talk about the truth, talk about any issues, and it's very honest, it's transparent, and so let's discuss it at the red table. And I think that's a really important tip for any relationship, is have those times where you can talk about anything. Nothing's off the table, so to speak, and it's a safe space for you both to express exactly how you're feeling. And the more you can keep communicating and checking in with each other, well, then that will avoid any relationship breakdowns. But as consciousness is shifting so much, this is why it's so important for each individual to do their own inner work and to be really honest and honest with themselves and honor themselves. And again, no one's broken. It's not about blaming, and that was the energy of May, right? That blaming and not taking responsibility. So really important to go, okay, what am I responsible for? and then talk to the other person, you know, this is how I feel, and be reasonable about it. And what they do with that, it's none of your business. How they respond to that, none of your business. All you're responsible for is your part. And unfortunately, if relationships have done their course, because remember, you know, people come into our life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And so some of those contracts, and unfortunately, you know, this person from last week, it was over 30 years. And I know a couple of people, you know, 30-year marriages just ending. And so it is, you know, it brings up it is devastating. It brings up a lot of loss and sadness and grief and worthiness issues, and what else could I have done? But this is why when two people come together, you both need to keep doing your inner work so you enhance each other's lives. It's not about relying on the other person to complete you or fulfill you, because that's very unhealthy and codependent. And the other thing is remaining in your identity, being really clear about who you are. So if you had, because it was the new moon last Monday, it was all about, and if your birthday was around that, that's all about your identity, your purpose, and why you are here. So really magical time of new beginnings and a new cycle. So if your birthday was around the new moon last Monday, that's what it's all about, is your identity and who are you? And, you know, really asking, who am I? And reflecting on that, what is important to you, and writing that out, journaling that. And before going into a relationship is, you know, what are your deal breakers? And what's important to you? What's your deal breakers? And this is how you can manifest the perfect person for you, because you know exactly what you're putting out there. But also remember, there's some compromise as well. Kindness, absolutely, Jane. Yeah, being loving and kind and compassionate with yourself and with others. So awesome, Marty, that resonates. Excellent. So my beautiful friends out there, I wish you a blessed week, and I'll be back here next Monday. In the meantime, send me any messages, emails, questions, or book a time on my website, lindabenn.com, and I look forward to talking to you and seeing you soon. And until then, namaste, much love, many blessings. Bye for now. Have a wonderful week.